Welcome to the Sun today for the 24th of February 2025. The news headlines today is that we have a proton storm going on, probably caused by this over-the-limb flare shown in the background here. More on that later. A quick summary of the activity that's going on at the moment. I would classify the activity at present high. The sunspot number is at 150, that's down slightly from yesterday. We have one new sunspot region. We had 4 C flares, 4 M flares, and 4 coronal mass ejections registered today. The solar wind speed is up. It's increased from 400 to about 450. And the magnetosphere is relatively quiet. What's going on with sunspots? We have 12 regions on the disk, one of which is new. That's 4007. It's in the eastern hemisphere at the moment. We have a sunspot number, as I said, of about 150. But even though we have fewer sunspots, the area is up from yesterday at 1410 millionths of the surface of the sun. The KP index is up from yesterday, varying between 1 and 4. The solar wind is at about 450 kilometers per second. Nonetheless, the magnetosphere is relatively quiet, and as you can see that from the auroral arc, which looks very weak at the moment. Well, we have some major coronal holes that I've been talking about for some days, and it looks as though they will affect the Earth. The one in the middle here is just about beneath where the Earth is at the moment. However, you have to remember that as the sun is turning, the magnetic connection to the Earth is well to the west of Sun center. So you can see that in the diagram on the right there. Is that red area is the big coronal hole that we're talking about. Interestingly, these coronal holes in the southern hemisphere seem to be joining up into one large coronal hole near the South Pole. Here's the all-important X-ray flux. Yesterday we had an X flare, as you saw in our video. But there's also right now going on a long duration flare from over the west limb, and that's the thing that has caused the proton storm that we've been talking about. I'll have a video of that and also a plot of the proton storm in a second. First, the video. This is the 131 angstrom movie from the Solar Dynamics Observatory. It's been going on for nearly 6 hours now, so that defines it as a long duration event. And it's from one of the regions that went over the limb 1 or 2 days ago. We don't know which one. And so this therefore has to be a very large storm that we can still see it. And it's such a high intensity. It's a C3 event. So let's take a look at the video of the event. And what we're seeing here is the tops of the arcade of loops that's formed by the reconnection after the explosion of the flare and the leaving of a coronal mass ejection. Here's the plot from the GOES spacecraft showing the proton flux, and you can see that the 10 MeV protons have exceeded the threshold level. That's the red curve. Even the 50 MeV protons, that's the blue curve, seem somewhat enhanced, which is surprising for an event that is over the limb. Coronal mass ejections, we've had 3 of them recorded by SOHO, so I'm going to show you the usual 2-day movie combining C2 and C3. Right at the end, you can see the coronal mass ejection that originated from this large flare. Well, let's get our Ouija boards out and see what the forecast is for tomorrow. I suspect that the number of sunspots will decrease as a couple of regions start to go over the limb. I think high flare activity will continue because we've got so many regions. Some of them are bound to start interacting. Solar wind should look as though it's increasing as that coronal hole comes more into play. and therefore a minor geomagnetic storm is possible. Once again, thank you for listening. If you enjoy these videos, please pass them on to friends or neighbors or relations who you think might benefit from understanding more about how the sun works. And so until next time, stay safe and goodbye.